Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
Happy Thursday to you, everybody. We appreciate your company as you're getting ready for the the 4th of July weekend. There's so many summer holidays in between. Well, very few, but all of them kind of feel like they resemble one another. Of course, each of them have a different purpose for the celebratory of this reason. But again, this is our Independence weekend coming up, and of course, our freedom as well. And also, as you know, dating back to 1776, giving you a bit of a history lesson here today. You know, we won the war against England at that time, and of course since then we were able to kind of unite as America, and now that England and the United States are now allies here across of the world. And of course that all has to do with that NATO stuff. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about politics and history. I'm here to talk about the weather, but this is the reason why we celebrate here in America. We're thankful for our independence as we celebrate that on Monday. Alrighty, let's get to the tropics now, because they're also heating up as we begin the holiday weekend. Look at this, no tropical activity here in Virginia. That's beautiful to see that. But we have 1, 2, 3, and there's also back here along the coast of Africa, there's a couple of other waves that you don't see on this map, but there's a couple of more that we're watching along the coast of the western coast of Africa there. Right now, again, this little disturbance here, don't get too worried about that impacting our region, but right now there's a possibility that could form and cause some interesting concerns there along the coast of Louisiana, Mississippi. I know there's several potential flood threats issued for this area this upcoming weekend, so maybe if you're heading down there, if you know folks along the Gulf Coast, let them know that there's some tropical activity here. Again, that's about a 40% chance of developing outside somewhere in this range. Again, this is hopefully, if we don't get a name by the end of today, definitely here this weekend. I'm pretty confident about that. That would be potential tropical storm 2, which could be Bonnie any day now. And so we're going to show the track here, the spaghetti models, in just a few minutes here. There's another little disturbance right here. Right now, it's about a 30% chance of developing. So we have a lot to watch over the next couple of weeks, as we are not in peak season for hurricane season, which, by the way, is not until late August in early September. So right now we're just running above where we should be for the month of tropical seasons here. Now, once again, here's that tropical storm track, potential tropical storm number 2. You kind of see here it's going right along here Central America. This potentially could become a hurricane by the end of probably the early part of next week, so we'll keep a close eye on that. And then if this continues, this may look kind of similar to how Alex kind of did back earlier in June. Remember, it was coming from the Pacific Ocean and switched over to the Atlantic Basin. This storm could switch over to that next named storm there. Of course, Celia is currently their name, where they're at right now, for parts of the eastern Pacific there, along outside of west of Mexico, across the country there. So this little disturbance could potentially transform a name if it holds together. We'll see along that. Again, there's those flood threats I was telling you about, that other tropical wave somewhere between in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll see if that develops to that. And these little green dots you kind of see behind me, that is just the history of the track of where the storm has kind of meandered itself there. So fun times if you're heading along the Gulf of Mexico. Just keep a close eye on that. If you're heading down to Florida this weekend, careful of those typical pop and go thunderstorms right now. Anywhere, if you're heading across any of our roadways here across the eastern seaboard, you should be experiencing some just your typical summer weather. I know parts of the Northeast expected to see some sunny conditions with some showers possible on Saturday up there. But other than that, here in the Mid-Atlantic and southern part of the United States, we should be expecting to see just your typical summer time pattern, minus that little Gulf disturbance outside of Texas and Louisiana. So safe travels wherever you may be heading to. If you're staying locally, pollen levels low, not much of a concern with that. So just continue to keep a close eye on on anything else, here is your extended, as we get towards your outlook here. That is the wrong graphic at the wrong order, but we'll go ahead and just give you a sneak tease of what to expect for the upcoming weekend here. Again, temperatures tomorrow breaking. If you do have Friday off, if you want to go and get your weekend started, do know we're going to be 90 is the very popular number, as you see here on this weather map here with the mix of sun and clouds. Don't let that fool you, because we may see a stray shower possible as you make your way out and about this upcoming weekend. And so why not? Let's go ahead and just jump to the 3-day outlook, and we'll talk about this here. So, but again, it's hot weather for our Friday, low to low 90s and upper 80s is everywhere you just kind of saw there for the upcoming Friday. So if you have plans to be out tomorrow, or if you're doing cookouts or whatever you're going to be doing, just do know that we could see a possible stray shower in the afternoon thanks to the daytime heating. Now, Saturday here, don't think everything's going to be a complete washout. By no means here. I don't want you to think you have to cancel all your afternoon activities for the holiday weekend. Just do know, again, typical summertime weather. We're going to see the temperatures get near 90, if enough heat and humidity. Again, a stray storm is possible with some partly to mixing sunny clouds here in the area. We may see some late night thunderstorms coming through as well, but most likely those thunderstorms will come to an end before the midnight hour, before the sunset hour anyway, unless there's more instability in the atmosphere that could fire some late night thunderstorms, which we are no stranger to. Over the last several weeks, we've had those late night thunderstorms occur. Sunday right now looks to be the wettest day. It's the highest percentage I put on here right now. I was going to go a little bit higher, but I'm just going to give it a 50-50 chance of that. But do know Sunday will most likely be one of the wettest days of the weekend. I know that maybe have some scheduled activities on that afternoon. If you're heading into some firework displays around the area or whatever you're going to be going to, Mother Nature is going to be providing her own fireworks with this heat in place with us. So do know that. Just keep an eye to the sky there on Wednesday. Again, to scattered passing thunderstorms itself. And Monday right now, not a complete washout, but it's just your typical pop and go thunderstorms. If you have remembered, if you've lived in this area long enough, you know every year it seems like about this time. I think last year was the only year we didn't see any rainfall. If not, we saw little. Other than that, in years past, we have never had, it seems like forever, a calm 4th of July holiday because it's always raining. Sometimes we've talked about tropical activity impacting our region like we were last year. About this time, we had Elsa, as you remember that, Tropical Storm Elsa gave us some rain for the holiday weekend itself, so that was a year ago today. Remember, we were going through the alphabet pretty quickly at that time, so we need some catching up to do in our tropical activity. But Monday for the holiday itself, as a lot of people will be off and enjoying that, just do know we're going to see some scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, near 90. You see here overnight lows in the upper 60s. So the humidity and the muggies are coming back for us for the upcoming holiday weekend. Again, one more recap for Friday. A mix of sun and clouds as we develop our area there. Temperatures near 90. Kind of the same story as we make our way over the next several days. On top of that, with that humidity being on the rise too. So very uncomfortable, but summer-like weather is right on schedule for July. This is what we'd expect for this time of year. So if you do have any plans traveling, if you're heading to Smith Mountain Lake, maybe if you're heading to Philpott, or Goose Point, or wherever you may be heading to get out on the water, just be careful. Keep your eye on the sky. As I've told you before, when thunder roars, head indoors. And of course, you've been paying attention here just regionally here in the state of Virginia. There's been, and even around the U.S. here recently, there's been a lot of those lightning fatalities that have occurred from individuals. So do not take the risk. Don't take the risk of going outside and heading out towards a hike. And you do know a thunderstorm is coming. Immediately try yourself quickly to get out of where you may be getting to. Get inside of your car if you have to. Get under a shelter or some sort of shelter in place if you're outside. Obviously, trees are not the best place to do that. And speaking of trees, I know I've got to wrap up here. As you remember, a decade ago this week, we had the famous derecho that came blowing through our region here. I did have a slide prepared for you, but my computer right now is not allowing me to interject that for you. So derecho, basically meaning straight line winds. That's what it means. The word in Spanish means straight ahead. So as you remember, 10 years ago in 2012, we had one of the most hottest Junes that we had seen, as temperatures have receded over 102, 4 degrees on that Friday afternoon. I remember it very vividly, coming home from a Bible study or Bible school, and next thing I know, lights go out, and just a matter of days, it was hot and it was humid. Thankfully, we had family to kind of resort to, because electricity was out for a lot of us for nearly almost 2 weeks at most. So one of the most devastating and damaging wind events that cost billions of dollars here for Virginia. And of course, there was only, I think, 3 fatalities within South Central Virginia, but overall there were 13 fatalities for the state of Virginia overall. So those winds got up to hurricane force, and it brought down a lot of trees. I'm sure most of you may remember where you were doing at that hour of that evening. Now, the National Weather Service also particularly recently did in a special report recently said that we are due for the next derecho any day now. So will it be tomorrow? Will it be next week? I can't tell you that, but every 3 to 5 years, we normally see a derecho come through the Mid-Atlantic region. The recent one, we had to go back to 2018 here in the Commonwealth, impacted Northern Virginia. So any day, like we said, we are due for a derecho. And could it be as devastating and as powerful as the last one? Possibly, or it could be less devastating, a little damage. So we can't really tell what's in the making for the derecho in the future. So keep that in mind. Always be weather prepared for our hurricane and summer seasons, as this is an eventful time of year for a lot of things, particularly for our holidays. Take care, everybody. We are wishing you a happy 4th of July here at your Neighborhood Network. Take some time off to enjoy that, like myself. We will see you back next week for more great local programming.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.